Hi, guys, me again, and welcome to episode 11 of Being Bubbly. I am so excited for our guest today. We have Alyssa DiCicco. Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me on, Taylor. I'm so excited to chat with you. It's going to be
Yes,
fun.
so am I. So I want to do a little bit of a bio so everyone knows kind of who you are and what we're going to talk about today. But Alyssa is the owner of NashvilleBrideGuide.com, which is an online wedding publication that features real Nashville weddings, engagements, as well as houses a local vendor guide. Alyssa is also the host of the Wedding Reporter podcast, which I love, where she interviews influencers and celebrities all about their engagements and wedding days. Some of her past podcast guests have included Hannah Brown of The Bachelorette, which I'm so excited to get into, Dallas Cowboy cheerleader Tori Skillings, wedding dress designer Haley Page, and many, many more. With 12 plus years of experience in the wedding industry, Alyssa is now opening up her calendar to accommodate wedding coaching with her clients, where she will be working with couples during their wedding planning journeys to give them more confidence and ease while guiding them through all of the ups and downs and all the things that go along with wedding planning. Alyssa is based in Franklin, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, has two kiddos, Holland, a 10-year-old competitive gymnast, and Adler, a 7-year-old self-proclaimed sprinting champion and mathematician. Her husband is a tour manager for various bands, and they love taking kids on the road for new experiences and new travels. So, like I said, Alyssa, welcome, and we are so happy to
Yeah.
have you.
Thanks so much, Taylor. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm excited to chat.
Yes. And one thing I did not mention in your bio, but you kind of have been a mentor to me in this whole process of
Oh.
like podcasting. I think we met maybe like 2 months ago.
Hmm.
And we've kind of been going back and forth. And you've really just like shown me one, how to understand Riverside and how to set up having podcasts and having guests, but also just kind of like some tips and tricks that you've shared with me. I so appreciate. So thank you. So I really was excited to kind of have you come on and talk about all the things Nashville Bride Guide.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yeah. I mean, podcasting is like so overwhelming at first where you're like, I don't even know where to start with the tech. Like, I'm not a techie person. So I
Me
definitely had
either.
to have like mentors in my life who had podcasts. I was like, hey, I'm taking you out for coffee. I don't know how this thing works, but I want to do a podcast. Like, let's sit down, give me all all the tips and tricks. And so I am more than happy to pass this along to you, Taylor, the knowledge that I've just learned doing it, over the past year and a half. And, happy to share knowledge with anyone who needs it, really.
Thank you. And I know it's like it is such like a community that I'm starting to see. Obviously, I'm very new with this, but I so appreciate it. And honestly, like the biggest question I get asked from people is like, isn't starting a podcast really hard? Like, what's the most challenging part of it? And very similar to you, like I am not a tech person. I don't understand how it works. I'm still learning how to edit. And so honestly, all I will take all the help I can get. And then if anyone reaches out to me, I will pass the baton on to them once I become a little bit more expert. But
Love
starting
it.
off with all things podcast. So you have a
Yeah.
very successful podcast. I
Oh,
am so
thank
excited.
you.
I love listening to episodes. I know you've had it for a little over a year and have over 70 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. I started on Valentine's Day 2024.
Oh my
So,
gosh,
yeah.
that's
And I've been
crazy.
releasing weekly. So, I mean, it's a labor of love for sure. It's a lot of editing and putting things together and making sure you have all your ducks in a row before you release an episode, but it's so fun. And I mean, I come from the blogging world.
Yes.
And, typically I would release, three at one point in my blogging career, I was releasing 5 blogs per week. And so it's like, I was already used to that, like churn and
Yes.
burn sort of
Yep.
like, like you got to have everything. We're releasing it this day, really getting your content calendar like tidied up and everything. And so I think it was just like a really pretty easy, like seamless transition from like blogging to podcasting. It's really a very similar thing, just in a different format. And so
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, obviously, with, like, blogging, that comes, like there's that writing piece, which I am not a writer, so I knew, like, blogging or anything that has to do with writing is not for me. Did you find, like, obviously, like, your creativity was there and, like, that translates, but was there a little bit of a learning curve with shifting from actually writing things down to just, like, speaking your mind?
Yeah, for sure. I know. I mean, there's definitely similarities, like I said before, but also it's a lot different. Just understanding the podcasting world versus the blogging world is so different. Um,
Yes.
just with, understanding how sponsorships work and commercial and like, that the whole editing aspect of it. And, also just like what mic do you get? What,
All the
platforms
little
are
things. Yeah.
best to put all of this on. And so, having other people who've done it before, like you said, it just really helped me sort of get that good foundation in order to like jump off of it
Yeah.
to put it, out there in my own direction and with my own spin on things. So yeah, that's been a big help for sure.
I would always say I am so embarrassed for anyone to see my Google searches or what I ask Chat GPT when it comes to anything podcast related or honestly life in general. But because
Mhm.
I literally am asking questions all the time, like, what's the best mic? How do I do this? Like, it's truly a lifesaver. I don't know what the heck we would do without technology. It's like a blessing and a curse, but it really, really has helped me with kind of this new adventure that I'm on.
Yeah, for sure. I know, and even just a year and a half ago, I feel like Chat GPT was just coming out, so I didn't know how to use it yet or anything. So I just had to rely on just like my different sources of people who I knew and just the network that I've built over being in the wedding industry for 12 years and just, being surrounded in my community and
Absolutely.
finding the right people to kind of help you out with the different ventures. So I think that's been a really big pivotal thing in my career is just surrounding yourself with really amazing people who you can also return the favor to
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
help them on their journey with your specific talents and things that you have as well. So yeah.
Well, I know one of the things that we talk about a lot is just like the community that you've built, whether it's a previous bride that you've worked with, or a vendor, or a celebrity, or a guest that you've had on your podcast. So, in terms of that, and you mentioned it a little bit, but how important is that community building? Obviously, you're within kind of the Nashville community, but you're also branching out to people outside of the Nashville community. So, how has that worked for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think, there's definitely specific people in my life who have really helped along the way. One friend in particular that I literally just met in January of this year. And, she's a publicist and she knows so many amazing people and is such a great connector. And I
Yep.
think, I can think of a few others in my life who are just really great connectors and being like, can really see your vision for things and being like, you need to meet this person and really just, those people have truly helped me raise the bar in my career. And I just want to return the favor and also provide a community through Nashville Bride Guide and with, different brides, but also vendors in our area, through networking events and things, live podcast interviews that I've done where I'm kind of just like, being able to foster this community where those types of things can happen because I know that like those relationships have been so important for me in my career and just in friendships and life in general. And so just being able to, even if it's like there's a lot of people who are like, I'm afraid to network or like, oh, I was afraid to go and talk to that girl, but like
That's
after
me right now.
doing, yeah, oh gosh. But like being able to be like, oh my gosh, it just dawned on me. What you're working on is like something she can help with. I need
Those
to connect
connections.
you guys by email. And like, so I do that a lot in our wedding vendor community here in Nashville, but also in general with friends and things. So yeah, it's been
I love
awesome.
that, and like I said, like, that's definitely something that I not am struggling with, but I just like am a little bit hesitant. And you definitely told me to like put yourself out there, go in person, introduce yourself. I see on social media you go to all of these events all over Nashville all the time. And like you shared, like it's networking and that sense of community is so huge, especially in obviously the wedding industry, but also just podcasting in general. And so there's like that is a huge piece of this puzzle that, we're kind of working with every day. Okay, so in terms of podcasting, I have a couple questions as far as like
Yeah.
some celebrity guests that you have had on.
Yeah.
So your most recent episode was with Hannah Brown. She
Mhm.
obviously I know her through The Bachelor and all of that, but she's someone that I follow on social media. How was that conversation? Because I'm not fully through it yet. I'm about
Yeah.
halfway in, but she seemed very lovely.
Oh, yes. She was so lovely. Oh my gosh, and talk about fangirling. I'm a
I
huge
know.
fan. I'm a huge fan of the Bachelor franchise in general, and, when I got the okay from Hannah's team, I was just like, "Is this real life? Like, is this actually happening? Like, is this even going to happen?"
Right.
Because I do, just being in the industry that I'm in, I do get celebrities booked and then they cancel last minute and then sometimes they never
Oh.
rebook. And that's just the nature of the business. Like they're busy, I get it. And it's like, I am my little podcast right now, trying to work our way up the charts and things like
Absolutely.
that. But you know, and I hear a lot of no's too. And so, I mean, just today I got a few no's and like, yeah, it's disappointing, but like that can't just like get you completely down where you're like, oh, I want to quit. And yeah, some days like you feel that way, but like in the long run, you just have to know like, okay, am I on the right path that like God has me on? And
Absolutely.
am I following, this way that I'm supposed to be going? Like, is it still feeling right in my heart to keep doing this? And like, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy though.
Right, it actually sometimes is
Yeah.
quite the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you have such hard days being an entrepreneur. And so just kind of staying the course and like knowing what your talents are, kind of like I was saying before, and just really using those to, be able to bring joy to not only yourself but to other people around you. But sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent. I'll get back to
No,
Hannah.
no, that was honestly, like, what you said there resonates so much just because, like, I'm very new to this, and so
Mhm.
trying to figure out the whole, like, sponsorship and ads and even having people come on and just, like, reaching out to different brands, like, I've gotten some yeses and I've gotten a lot of nos, and it's funny, it just, like, depends on the day. Some days I'm like, "Oh, like, totally fine, I totally get it," and then some days I'm like, "Ooh, that one stung a little bit." But to your
Mhm.
point of love that I'm doing this and every comment or someone who reaches out that kind of just catches me off guard and is like, "Hey, I loved what you said on the podcast," or "This is one of my favorite things to listen to. Thank you so much for doing this." That just kind of like rejuvenates my soul and is my reminder to keep doing and to keep pushing forward. And also like I am brand new at this. I started this 3 months ago, and so I need to give myself that grace.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you'll see as you keep growing, the opportunities will keep coming. And then it just, that's the cool thing about podcasting is that it just keeps snowballing on itself. It's
Yes.
like, now that I'm a year and a half in, it's like some of the episodes, my first maybe 5 episodes are just compounding on each other because more and more people are searching for those things that I, had the topic on, like in their podcast platform, and they're still listening to it, even though it's a year and a half old.
Yeah.
It's still pertinent information that they can take along with them in their wedding planning journey, or a fun, a celebrity wedding interview that they want to listen to. And so, it's like those listens keep coming, and then your numbers just keep growing with the
Growing.
more and more content that you're putting out there. And so I think that's an encouraging thing, at least for me, a year and a half in of being
Absolutely.
okay, all this work like wasn't wasted. Like people are still listening to those episodes. And, it's even episodes like Hannah's episode, people will hopefully be finding that in the search as they're searching and like keep listening to that for maybe even a year or two later. And so it's like
Absolutely.
those are more downloads, more listens that are going to get your podcast to that higher number. So, Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all about with social media and having, Hannah connected on her, specifically her episode, right? Anyone who's looking or interested in her or follow of her is going to then see that she went on this podcast, click that. And like you said, it leads to more views, more followers, more subscriptions. In terms of other podcasts, I know you kind of just said people are going back and listening. One of my favorites and the first episode of yours that I listened to was a Father of the Bride rewatch.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
any people out there in the Being Bubbly universe, if you love like bride movies, if you are a Father of the Bride fan, I think you have a 27 Dresses one as
Yes,
well.
we do. Yeah.
I do recommend going and listening to those because it's just fun to kind of listen and get other people's points of views and just chatting about the movie. So, I kind of love how you have such a variety of different kinds of episodes where it can be a celebrity, it can be, a particular vendor, or it could just be like a great wedding movie. So I love kind of that like diversity there.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you said that. I do need to record more
I
of the movie episodes because I
I was gonna
love
say I
them.
have a suggestion. One of my
Oh, okay. What's
favorite,
your suggestion?
my best friend's wedding.
Yes, I
Such a
do
good
need to
one.
do that one next. I haven't seen
And
that one in so long. I need to like
it's
rewatch it again.
it's so good. And my father-daughter dance was to say a little prayer from my best friend's
Oh,
wedding with
oh
my
my
dad, obviously.
gosh.
So it's one of our favorites. So I
I love
definitely,
that.
yes, I do recommend that one.
It's so good. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I do those episodes with Kayla, who she used to work for
Yes.
me, and we still keep in touch. I'm like, "Come back." But yeah. Um, but I'll see her tonight. She and I are actually going to a movie premiere of Bride Hard, which is a new
Yes.
movie coming out with
I
Rebel
saw
Wilson.
I was gonna say she was on the Today Show
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. So, yeah, Kayla is my like go-to. I feel like whenever we're together and we do an episode, it's just off the
It's
wall fun
fun.
because she is so fun and she like brings more of a fun side out of me too. And so,
I
yeah, I need to be like Kayla. Okay, let's get something on the books. Let's do my best friend's wedding. So,
Yes. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, I love that. Well, let me know when you do because I will definitely listen.
For sure. Yeah, it'll be fun.
In terms of celebrities that you haven't had on, anyone on your radar?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like there's people on my radar a lot that you know what I do? I basically have my Instagram feed sort of I've taught it, I guess you can
Well, it's
say,
the
to
algorithm,
like
yeah.
feed me any new celebrity engagements or any new celebrity weddings so then I could just like, see it first in my feed. And so um I just have a whole saved folder that I go through, and anytime I see someone that I'm like, they would be great guests, I just save it in my folder on Instagram, and then I reach out to them. But
I was gonna say, do you reach
anyways,
out immediately, like after you see like whether it's like People or Vogue or whatever, whoever announces the
yeah, it
engagement?
depends. I've been a little slow at outreach lately. I've been doing it maybe like once a month, but yeah, every now and then I'll be like, okay, let's get this going. Especially if it's somebody that I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want them on. But I mean, right now, I would absolutely love to have Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco.
Oh
Just
my
like
gosh.
they're just precious. I'm just like, Benny, I cannot wait to see like what their wedding is going to be. Like
I
it's just going to be
know.
amazing. Um I mean, someday if there's another royal wedding, that would be so fun to cover that. I mean, talk
Absolutely.
about a dream. Um yeah, right now Adie and Ollie from Love is Blind are
Yes.
together now. Like they were such an unexpected couple. I think they were on Love Island and got together and like
I was
now they're
gonna
having a
say they
baby
both
and
were
I'm just
on
like
Love is Blind, but then like met on Love Island, I think.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's the one. So, um I would love to have them on. I mean, Winnie Harlow is getting married soon.
So many
She is just
people.
like oh, an amazing model. That's just like I've looked up to her for so long. She's so awesome. But
That'd be one of
yeah,
those
I
like
feel
full
like
circle moments for sure.
yeah, I would love to have any of those people on and, there's always more to come. Especially, I mean, I think you and I were talking before like hello Taylor Swift like And
Yeah.
Travis, when are you going to pop that question?
I
We're
literally, like,
all waiting.
we're all waiting. Anytime I see a picture, I'm just like, okay, like, I always go to the comments or the
Yeah.
description because I'm like, is this gonna happen? And then also Chase Stokes and Kelsey Ballerini. I feel like
Oh my
anytime I see a picture
gosh.
of them, I'm like, okay, is this an engagement announcement? Like, it has
Yes.
to be coming soon.
I know. Yeah. Lainey Wilson's engaged right now too. I would love to
Is
have her
she?
on.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love Lainey Wilson. Oh my gosh, I
I
love her music.
know. Yeah. It would be so
Ugh.
cool. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that's like, ooh, got to keep tabs on them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a full-time job in itself.
I know, right? Yeah.
Okay, so want to switch gears a little bit. Obviously,
hmm
like podcasting is near and dear to my heart, of course, but I know that what is near and dear to your heart is Nashville Bride Guide. And that's kind of where you got your start in the industry, is you had mentioned that you started with a blog. So tell us a little bit about just kind of what Nashville Bride Guide is, all of the different components of it. I know that there is obviously wedding blogs on there. You feature actual true Nashville weddings on there, different vendors, tips and tricks, advice. Like it's basically brides, if you're out there, 2025 bride, 2026 and beyond, NashvilleBrideGuide.com is going to be your one-stop shop for all the things.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, so Nashville Bride Guide, I mean, I guess starting from the beginning, I worked in the wedding industry here in Nashville
Okay.
at a rental company. So I got to do all the fun things. I did marketing for them. I got to, help couples pick out their tablescapes, order tents for them, like,
Oh, I love
make
that.
like decorate the front window, do styled shoots. It was like living in a live Pinterest board. It was so fun. And then I had my daughter, and I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and the timing was just right where this wedding blogger in town, Ashley, decided that she was going to just get a corporate job and abandon the blog. And she had a really good reputation in town as being like the wedding blog for Nashville. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to reach out to her and see if I could take it over. And long story short, I ended up buying the blog from her. It
Wow.
was called Ashley's Bride Guide, and I changed the name to Nashville Bride Guide. I actually did have it go by Ashley's Bride Guide for like a year, and it was so confusing because my name's Alyssa, and
Yeah.
it was like, this
I
is
figured
not
every
working.
it's
Everyone
like
would call me
too
Ashley, and I'm
close
like,
for
no,
yeah.
it's actually Alyssa. So yeah, did like a big launch party for it and everything. And I had already, been in the wedding industry here in Nashville and made some really great connections, networking and things like that, and just through work. So yeah, made the jump and was able to, be home with my then 1-year-old daughter and
Amazing.
be a mom and
Yep.
also work from home and do all the things that working parenting mom has to do.
Juggling a million different hats. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And so I mean, this has really allowed me to, it's virtual. I can work when I want to work.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been super flexible and really amazing just for our family and everything. Um so yeah, Nashville Bride Guide though, it's an online wedding publication. So we have a whole vendor guide on there. So we have our members who are vendors have listings on there where it's all broken down by category. So you can search for, wedding venue. And we have a bunch of different wedding venues to choose from, all with their built out profiles. So you can kind of see like a snapshot of their website on our website, see
It's
all the
so
pretty
organized, I have to
photos.
say.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. We feature real weddings that happen in Nashville. Actually, I have a fun one coming out soon. It's
Oh, yay.
Post Malone actually crashed this wedding in
Oh,
Nashville.
I saw that.
And
Yes.
yeah, so it's like it's going to be so good. I was so excited when the photographer sent it to me to feature. So that'll be a fun one coming
That's
out.
awesome.
Yeah, and then we do a lot of like advice posts as well with our Nashville Bride Guide vendors. And we've kind of like built in the podcast to our packages too, like with our vendors. So it's like, if they don't necessarily want to do a blog post, we can interview them on the podcast. And so
Yeah.
it's just another good way. Like we have various channels as far as like social media, our blog, our email list, our podcast, and different ways to get the word out about our amazing wedding vendors that we have on our site. Um, and so it's a lot different than what some of these big box wedding websites are. We're mom and pop. It's like you're me that you're dealing with. You're not just a number. All these different crazy things that are happening with those big box
Oh
sites
my
that I
gosh.
won't go
Yes.
into right now, but it's just like, you know, you're going to be dealing with me, and I am just happy to be able to promote you through our channels and our site and everything. And so it's been really cool. I've met the most amazing people through Nashville Bride Guide. Yeah, one of my favorite things about it is just being able to sit down with vendors and truly get to know them and why they have a passion for weddings, and what makes them different from other vendors here in town. And I can use all that information to really get a true picture of who they are through our channels that we provide. So it's
I
really
love
cool. It's
that.
really
And
fun.
I think that's so important for brides too, because the people that you have with you on your special day, like you want there to be that connection there. You want there to be that relationships where they're easy to work with. They understand who you are as a couple. And so like everything is so seamless. So you being able to kind of not vet, I don't know if that's the right word, but like
No,
get to
totally.
know different vendors and like make sure like you are sharing to your clients the best of the best and the people that are going to help make their day go as seamless as possible, I think is so amazing and definitely something that I wish I had when I was a bride. Obviously, I didn't get married in Nashville, but I just remember spending hours on Google and using some of those bigger publications, but just feeling so lost. And there was so many out there to choose from. And some had reviews, some had ratings, some didn't. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah,
my
for
mom,
sure.
dad, and I were like really kind of on our own with like, who the hell do we reach out to? I was the first to get
Right.
married. So I think like having this like trusted place and publication to go to is huge.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I love doing it, and I love just being able to provide all this information on our platform for brides.
Definitely. Now,
Yeah.
would you ever be interested in like expanding outside of Nashville or like you happy with kind of just Nashville itself? Like there is a market for it, I have to
I
say, but that's like a
know.
huge
Yeah,
a
for
huge
sure.
leap.
I mean, I definitely have thought about that in the past. I had, some different ideas, kind of business ideas come up through it as far as like, should I do a franchise? Should I not?
Yep.
But really like I feel like as an entrepreneur already, I kind of have trouble like seeing the shiny thing in front of me and like wanting to work on that, and then like seeing this and wanting to work on
Yep.
that. And
Yep.
so it's like, I have a baby website, like Nashville Baby Guide too. And so it's like,
Oh my gosh, I
okay,
didn't even
I
know
need
that.
yeah. I'm like, I have to just focus on
Yeah,
like one thing. And sometimes that's hard for me. So I could, but there are other companies doing that, and I just kind of want to stay true to like my path and where I
absolutely.
feel like I need to go, and really like the expansion in my mind is more like through the podcast at this point.
I was just gonna
So,
say, like,
yeah.
obviously, like, the Nashville Bride Guide and, like, your publication and vendors are Nashville specific, but your
Mhm.
podcast obviously reaches across the country, and so, like, you could
Mhm.
always use that as kind of, like, your outlet to other areas, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that's the idea for now.
Yay, I love that.
Yeah.
So, any, like, of your favorite bridal trends, what are some of the biggest things that you're seeing for just, like, 2025, 2026 brides?
Well, something that I love that I am seeing more of is like more of a nod to vintage, I would say. Like, I'm
Oh.
seeing more like film photography, which I really love just personally. And so I'm like,
Yep.
yes, it's coming back. Like, more film photography, please. Um, I'm seeing more like flash photography and more like the messy cake table pictures, which I think are so fun. I
Yeah.
love that. It's just like everything in its natural habitat, and everything, and that's the cool thing about weddings now is like not everything has to be that picture perfect. Like, there's other things in your wedding that are messy, and
Yep.
it's like,
Those are the things
well,
that you actually think
yes.
about and remember the most, and, like,
Mhm.
I think back to my wedding and just things that, didn't go as to how I had them planned or whatever it might be, and all the things that I stress out about, I'm like, "I don't even remember what that looked
Yeah.
like what that is," but to your
Yes.
point of, like, it's, like, those authentic, real, raw moments that I think are
Mhm.
so fun to capture, and, like, that's what you bring with you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like the coolest trend that has been happening for a few years now is literally just doing whatever the heck you want to do
Yep.
for your wedding. Like, and it wasn't always like that. It
No.
wasn't always like that. Back in the day, there was this cookie cutter form of how a wedding should go. And that's your idea that you would think well, I need to do a garter toss. I need to do a cake cutting. But now it's
Yep.
like the rules are so out the window. And I love that so much for everybody. And it's like, if you listen to the Wedding Reporter podcast too, it's like couples are doing things so differently
So
and it just
differently.
suits
Yes.
them so well. And I had a couple where it's like a big trend that I'm seeing, especially in like celebrity weddings, is like, they'll have like a private ceremony that's just
Yes.
them. And then maybe it could be in like Europe or something. And then they'll like do their honeymoon just them. And then later on, they'll have a big party with
Party. Yep.
everybody. So it's just like things are a little bit out of order. And that's the cool thing is like you don't have to go in an order. Like I went to a
No.
wedding a couple years ago where it's like they did cocktail hour first. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, you come in
Oh,
and
I
just
love
drink
so
and
then
eat first
yes.
before the ceremony even starts. It was just really
Wait, I
cool.
kinda love that.
Right? I know. It's super cool. So I love it. Doing it your own way. I even interviewed another couple who they were having a Vegas ceremony, a
Okay.
very small, almost elopement, but I think some of their close family was there. Um, they literally got engaged like days before their ceremony.
Good for them.
And then they did that, got married there, and then afterwards had their bachelor and bachelorette parties. And I was like, this is so different, but like so cool for you guys. Like, so
Yes.
that's what I love. It's like, is that the way I would do things? Not necessarily, but I think that's also like why I love doing the podcast so much because I get so much joy from seeing people do what they do for themselves
Absolutely.
and the choices that
Absolutely.
they make for their own weddings. I think that just makes me so happy.
I love that, and I think, like, my younger sister, I know I shared with you, she just got engaged, and so she's in the
Yes.
process of, like, wedding planning, they just booked their venue, and she seeing what Kevin and I went through for our wedding and just, like, the stress, like, I would say mine was pretty cookie cutter, but that's, like, I'm very traditional, and that's what I
Right.
wanted. Now
Yeah.
looking back, I'm like, "Okay, I would have, like, done a million things differently." I loved it, but, like, hindsight 2020, but her and her fiance are just like so relaxed. They want it to just be like all about them. They want it like casual mountain vibes. And I think
Love
that's like
that.
so great and so for them. And then my older sister is like, I want to elope when she's not engaged, but she's like, I want to elope and then do like just family there and then do like a big party. She's like, I want nothing to do with the wedding planning process. So I think
Yeah.
it is cool that now it's just kind of whatever the couple, like, wants to do and, like, what speaks to their relationship and who they are, I think is really exciting.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know, and I was listening to your episode like right before your sister got engaged, so now I feel like I'm on pins and needles where I'm like,
Oh,
"How
yes.
did it go?" Like, I need to know all the details, but
Yes,
we could
yes,
save
yes,
that for
yes.
another time
Spoiler alert,
too,
she
but
said
yeah.
yes.
Yes, good,
Yes.
okay.
But no, I just love the idea, like, I am now seeing, like, people are, like, cutting out speeches, like, the speeches at my wedding were, like,
Yeah.
an hour, and they were phenomenal, but it was so long, and
Yeah.
so, like, people are just doing what they wanna do. If, like, just drinking, eating, and dancing is what people wanna prioritize, then just prioritize that, like, you don't need all the other pomp and circumstance, so like you
Mhm.
said, I think it's really cool to see how, like, the wedding industry is has totally kind of taken a turn, and I really do think it's for the better. But I also like some of the, like, old vintage stuff that's coming back, like you said, those
Mhm.
kind of old traditions or, like, vintage film. I love seeing that, and that's definitely something I wish I did. I wish I did, like, what are they called? Like, the Polaroid cameras, but
Oh, yeah,
the
disposable
disposable
cameras?
cameras,
I
yes!
know, they're
Those are
so
so
fun.
fun, so fun. That's one of the things that I thought about, but they're expensive. Can't
I
just get
know
them on
they are.
Amazon for, like,
And then when you
$5.
print all the pictures too, that gets pricey.
Yeah, exactly. So, we were just, "Alright, let's just cut that," but looking back, I'm like, oh, that would be really cool to have."
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I know. And yeah, I think there's a little bit of a misconception sometimes, like when people talk to me and they know that I'm in weddings and stuff, and if they're like, "Oh, we didn't have a wedding," or "We just went to the courthouse," or, I feel like some people are almost like afraid to tell me that because they
Yeah.
know that I'm all about weddings and a wedding aficionado and everything and have a wedding blog, but it's like I love that for
Yeah,
you. Like, I think
absolutely.
that's so great because you stayed true to you and you didn't cave to anything that society is telling you. And that's, something that I contemplate from time to time is like, is my platform just glorifying more
Good.
high end, like, wow weddings where it's like, you know, trying to convince people to have those types of weddings, but like, I don't necessarily want to be a platform that is contributing to that.
Yep.
I want to be more of a platform that just celebrates weddings and
In
love
general,
and
yeah.
two people coming together in general, no matter
Yeah.
how they do it. And so I hope that comes across in what we do. And like, obviously, I love different and fun things. I love those opulent weddings are really cool that you see online. Um, but some of the more small, like, personable weddings are really cool too
Oh
if
my gosh,
they have
absolutely.
something unique or different that happened during it. So, I love that.
Yeah, and I think, I really appreciate what you just shared of just this idea of being aware of, like, social media and, like, what that impact can have on someone who's viewing this, and that's something that I think a lot of people who are, in kind of this work, whether they're influencer, blogger, whoever it might be, like, feel that, but to your point of, like, you just wanna show and showcase all of these beautiful moments of these couples coming together and, I get act of marriage or love, whatever you wanna
Right.
call it. But showcasing that no matter what it is, I think is really cool, and that's the content that, like, people wanna see. I know that's the content that I look
Mhm.
for, and a lot of other people do as well.
Yeah, definitely. One of my most listened to episodes is literally about a couple who met shopping at Home Depot.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so it's
The
like,
most relatable
I
thing
could
ever.
exactly. It's like, I can have, reality TV stars on and whoever on the podcast, but sometimes those like, more down to earth, everyday people sort of happenstance
Yep.
stories that just have some sort of draw to the public are the ones that are the most popular out
It's
there,
that
which is really
authenticity
cool.
piece. Yeah,
Yeah. And I love shining a light on those stories as well. They're so fun.
yeah,
There's
I love
actually a
that.
couple I'm trying to get on. Well, I mean, they did do something fun and on TV, but they are just a regular couple. They got engaged on Wheel of Fortune. And
Ooh, that'd be so cool to see
I
or
know. So
listen
I'm like,
to.
okay, please come on the show. That'd be so fun.
Yes. Well, it's so funny because I watch the Today Show all the time. So they kind of like showcase
Hmm.
some of these big stories, but then like going through and listening to the podcast, I'm like, "Oh my god, she actually had them on her podcast and interviewed them,
Oh,
like the
that's
Home
so
Depot
cute.
I
Yeah.
had heard about." So it's
Hmm.
cool to see that, you are getting an opportunity to have these just regular people like myself share their stories and giving them that platform because a lot of other people wouldn't be giving them that platform. So I think that's great.
Yeah, definitely. It's really fun.
And then I know you mentioned to me that you are starting something new, kind of going on a
Mhm.
new journey with live wedding coaching. Do you want to share a little bit about that, kind of what that entails?
Yeah, definitely. So, I do have a lot of couples who come to me who sort of want this outside opinion. I'm not necessarily trying to sell them on anything or like book my services as far as like being your wedding vendor, but I'm more of this outside resource that you can come to.
I love that.
Um, as far as like, you can look for yourself on Nashville Bride Guide and find our recommended vendors and things like that. But sometimes you just need a person to talk to through
Absolutely.
that
Yep.
wedding planning journey. And, I work really well with couples who are like just getting started out and they're like, I don't even know where to start.
It's
Like,
so overwhelming.
how much do things even cost? Like, how many people should I invite? Like, how do I deal with family drama? Like, all of that. So I can kind of be that sounding board for you as far as just guiding you on the right path and almost affirming you of okay, this is where you want to be. You're doing fine. You still have a year left. You're okay. Like some people get married with 6 months only to plan their wedding.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean? I can kind of just help you out on your journey of wherever you are in that wedding planning process. I will say I will not be your wedding planner. So I don't ask me to actually be there on your wedding day with a clipboard and,
Yes.
figuring things
Literally.
out because that's
Like
that's
Frank
like
from Father of the
not my
Bride.
gifting. Yes, I will recommend other wedding planners to you for sure. Um but it's so hard because you get so many opinions thrown at you
You
and you're
sure
like,
do.
which one's the right one? I don't know what to do. And so, if you want to just sit down and book a call with me and chat and be like, hey, this is what we have going on. What do you think, Alyssa? Um, a non biased, you know, sort of person there to guide you through. So, that's really the idea behind the wedding coaching. So, yeah,
I
I
love
have
that.
different opportunities for that. If you want to just do one session, we can do that and see how we jive and work together. And then you can also sign up for monthly sessions with me, just working all the way up through when your wedding actually happens. And we could just do little check ins and see how things are going and if you're on the right track.
I love that. I think, like, to your point of, like, sometimes that, like, third party non-biased opinion is
Hmm.
what brides need to hear the most, especially with, like, family drama and all of that. Like, I think that's huge and, like, just someone to guide you in the right direction if you're just, like, super overwhelmed or have no idea to even where to begin, and I think that there is definitely a need for that out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, Alyssa, this has been so wonderful. I was so excited to obviously meet you and connect with you first, but then to have you and welcome you on the podcast has been so great. And I'm so excited for our listeners to check out NashvilleBrideGuide.com as well as the podcast. And I know that they will be waiting for that My Best Friend's Wedding episode with me. Yeah,
Yeah.
no
So
pressure or
fun.
anything.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
So
Well,
fun.
I can't wait to see what is next, future episodes, all the things. So thank you, thank you. And something that we do here at Being Bubbly, I have my Being Bubbly glass. And oh,
I
yes,
got
perfect. What do you?
mine.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
Spindrift.
well, I have an event to go to tonight and I've got to drive and everything, take care of the
I
kids,
listen.
whatnot. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do some blood orange tangerine spindrift. So
I love it.
Cheers.
Have you had, it's like the mojito spindrift.
Ooh,
It's like a
no, I think
green
I have. I
can.
think I've
It's
tried it. Yeah, it's
so
good.
good. It's so good. That's like my
Yeah.
favorite. Again, cheers to you, cheers to Nashville Bride Guide, and cheers to being bubbly.
Cheers.
Thanks
Thanks,
for joining.
Taylor. This has
Bye.
been awesome. Bye.